Hi, everybody. Welcome to another J9's Patio Chat Check-in. This is number 364, and as you would have seen, because you've seen one already, this is being pre-recorded. And so today I have with me, very happy to have Dr. Lisa Barrett, and she's an infectious diseases doctor and researcher at Dalhousie University. And Lisa, I have to mention, my mother will really want me to mention that you are from Newfoundland, Old Perlican to be exact. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Old Perlican.
Yeah. Okay, so my mom is from Newfoundland too, I think, or don't know if you know that, but anyway, my mom loves that you're from Newfoundland, so I had to tell you that. So thanks so much. And I did want to say that you and I have known each other, and a lot of people might not know, but Lisa, you have done an amazing amount of work around trying to eradicate hepatitis C, and people may not know that. A lot of people are getting to know you around COVID-19. So you and I worked together on infectious diseases for years, like when I was in the community, and then when I came to government. So thanks for taking a few minutes to chat today. I really appreciate that. And people will know I'm going to follow just a couple of questions to get us started. This will air on March 14th. And at that time, we still didn't have any individuals in Nova Scotia that had tested positive for COVID-19. We had a few in Atlantic Canada, and there were just over 250 people in Canada. And I know you watch the patio chat, Lisa, so you know I try not to say cases. I always try to say individuals because I think it's important for us to remember that every time somebody tests positive for COVID, like that is somebody's family member or somebody's brother, or it's a person, it's an individual, and to me it's important. So I try not to use cases. If we think back almost a year ago today, is this where you thought we would be, Lisa? Like if you think back?
I'd love to say that we were all perfectly aware of what was going to happen. I still think we were living a little bit in hope, at least in the infectious disease world at then, that we would see this as, a quick up and down thing. So on this date, I think we were all very worried, but not quite as worried as we were a couple of weeks later or even a few days later. So when you go over, you're coming back to drive towards the bridge or you're on the highway, and you suddenly see that it's not a wind warning in Halifax, but a stay home warning, be at home. A couple of days later, I think then we all were very worried. So, but I also didn't think we'd have vaccines, and several of them. So I would say two sides to that coin in terms of where I thought we'd be at this stage, just under a year later on 364.
Awesome. Well, you have been, and I meant to say this at the beginning, I wanted to thank you on behalf of Nova Scotians and in fact Canadians for your immense contribution to the public health response around COVID-19, particularly the rapid testing and getting that going. Because you saw me in line one day, I've taken advantage of the rapid test a few times, and I think it's amazing that we have that in our province, and I know that a lot of people are envious. So I mentioned that because my second question is around silver linings. As you know, again, because you watch the chat, I really try as best I can to focus on positive things. So COVID has packed quite a punch. We know about that. I remember you talking about it being a stealth virus, and absolutely, like it's definitely thrown a lot of curveballs. But at the same time, I also think a lot of things have happened during COVID-19 that have been positive. And one I will share with you, and you would have heard me speak about it before, is the amount of time I've been able to spend with my immediate family during COVID. So when we were in lockdown at the beginning, and I'll never forget the day when Dr. Strang said you could go home if you had family in Nova Scotia, and I literally rented a car and was in the car like within, a very short period of time. And I have spent a lot of time with my family in Cape Breton and worked from Cape Breton. So to me, that's a huge silver lining. So for you, Lisa, what would be maybe a silver lining that you can think of?
Well, I before this, you mentioned you and I worked together a lot, and I've worked on hepatitis C elimination, and that's been at a Canadian level. And I traveled to talk about that or to promote it or present research on it, a good chunk of the year. And I didn't ever get to spend quite as much intense time with my colleagues, all these amazing human beings who were infected infectious disease doctors, public health folks, many of whom I didn't get to see all the time. And I got to spend a lot of time in some very close virtual or non-virtual contacts with those folks. And you know what? That has been a huge silver lining. But the second part, and it's not really just a me thing, but it's made me feel a very, very big connection to other humans, is watching people kind of come together as communities and see the big and small, medium-sized things. People who put up a really good news post on Facebook every single day, help each other out. Those things have been huge silver linings. And I think the world kind of needed a little bit of that at that point. I think we all needed a come together, not pull apart point.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think we are, you know, as I mentioned, COVID has been difficult, and I know Dr. Strang, Rob speaks about COVID fatigue, and we hear a lot about that. People are getting tired, but I also think people are hopeful because, and we spoke about this just before coming on, about vaccines. Like, we have 4 vaccines approved here in Canada. Like, it's amazing. I too didn't think we would have vaccines at this point. So we look ahead, we see that vaccines are here, people are getting vaccinated, and I'm noticing almost every day that somebody in my kind of circle is getting vaccinated. So it's really exciting to see that. And so I'm wondering, like, looking ahead, what might be some of your words of wisdom or sort of thoughts for folks as we kind of go forward, almost at our kind of year anniversary of kind of shutting things down here in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, big key core part for me is feel good, get vaccinated, be hopeful. But I also do think there is a certain amount still of diligence to be done. Testing shouldn't go away quite that quickly, particularly as we start to open up and as we start to travel more as Canadians and global citizens. We're going to really need to keep an eye on things. And that's not a negative at all. It's just the new normal. I keep talking about, you know, when I was a kid, 25, okay, more than 25 years ago, I won't lie. But when I first went to an airport to get a plane, I would see that there was almost no security. We get to the airport 10 minutes before you'd roll through. Life, the world changed. And now for the privilege of flying or traveling, we have to go through security that's much more robust, and we take the time to do it. I think even with vaccines, we're going to be doing testing, and that's going to become part of our travel plan for quite some time, for probably a couple of years. So that's no big deal, but I think we do need to understand that we need to be mindful and diligent, keep doing things like some regular testing around travel. And that's going to be a new normal that I actually would kind of look forward to if we get to traveling at some point.
Oh, well, maybe my mom might like the new normal term more that now that you've used it. It's one of her big pet peeves.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble with your mom? Darn it.
No, you know what, Lisa, the Newfoundland card, yeah, you're good.
Takes it away.
You're good to go. So no, she does. It's funny because my mom just says there isn't really anything normal about this, but she too, like you just illustrated, talked about how, yes, things will be different and we need to adapt. And I certainly am really happy that we have the option to get testing here so easily, asymptomatic testing, symptomatic testing, of course. So I just think that's really great. And I will certainly continue to take advantage of it. Happily, very excited to get my vaccine, but also very happy to wait as priority populations get it, because I think that's very important. Can't wait to see my parents get vaccinated. They are both over 70, so won't be too long for them. And my brother in the US was able to get vaccinated, thankfully, and then it will be just me and my youngest brother in our immediate family. So
we will get there. I mean,
we will get there. Yeah.
You know what? It's okay to keep pushing and saying maybe earlier than the end of September, maybe earlier than the end of August. Let's keep bigger the supply gets, the more we can actually push that forward, and we can all help each other out with getting people to get vaccines.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lisa, I really thank you so much. I don't have anything else I'm going to do. You know the drill of my little wrap up, but did you want to say anything final before I say goodbye to the Patio Chat fans?
Well, one thing I will say is thank you, because I have watched these chats and they have been an absolute joy, not just to see a familiar face, but a positive face. And I think you've really done a great job. And thank you. And thanks for including me. It feels really great.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That wasn't scripted, everybody. I did not ask Lisa to say that.
True.
Oh, so thank you so much. Well, thank you again. And everyone else, take good care of yourselves, take good care of others, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.